So apparently, Meghan's husband is in Toronto. Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex. He is in Toronto celebrating Remembrance Day and commemorating the fallen soldiers who have given their lives and service to protecting the UK and its Commonwealth nations, apparently. And everybody's talking about it because the press has been trying to spin this narrative that Harry is stealing attention from William, who I believe is still in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, for the Earthshot Prize. So they're basically saying that Harry intentionally, disclosed that he'll be in Canada at the same time that William is supposed to have the stage, and everybody's just talking about the timing of it. But it seems that, if I'm understanding correctly from the other YouTubers, that Harry has an arrangement where he tells the palace in advance his plans. So they knew ahead of time that he would be in Canada to celebrate the Remembrance Day at the same time that William was scheduled to be in Brazil, right? So the question is, why is the UK media trying to spin this as though Harry is a bad person for, going to Canada? He was invited there to commemorate Remembrance Day, given that they knew in advance that he would be doing that, right? And also, why is it that William is so easily upstaged? If you think about it, is that William is the king or future king to be, and he's a working royal, and he's in Brazil promoting his Earthshot Prize. And you would think that the entire media posse, I don't know what you'd call them, there's a word Harry has for them, but why are they not all in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil? Because if Harry was in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, they would be tripping over themselves to be there, uninvited, more than likely, but they would be there getting shots of Harry and writing all sorts of different stories about Harry and what's going on. But William is there, and rather than go there and cover everything that William is trying to do, they're in Toronto harassing Meghan's husband and, coming up with all these stories about, Harry competing with William. There's no competition. They knew it ahead of time, including William, I presume, that Harry would be in Canada to commemorate Remembrance Day, right? So why are they trying to turn that into the story? They are the ones who are stealing attention from William, not Harry. Harry apparently wrote this essay also about, Remembrance Day and the soldiers who served. And, at one point he was very nostalgic about being British and, some of their pastimes, going to the pubs, having a pint with their friends and so on. I mean, he definitely sounded, I think, like a man who was owning his Britishness. I mean, he's not looking to become American anytime soon. He's a British man, a British citizen, and he loves his country and his countrymen and women. I mean, he loves them very much, and they him as well. I mean, but for this woman here, he would still probably be in the UK, but love intervened. I mean, Harry is a textbook case of you can't control who you love. You can't control who you love. Love is very it's an enigma. You don't really know why. Sometimes you just love someone, and it just so happens that the someone he loved was someone that many people in Britain did not approve of because she's not British, right? So there's a lot of xenophobia going on, among other things, right? I mean, that's not true for everybody, but for a lot of people, it was like she's not British, therefore, you can't bring her here. But Harry can, he's showing that he can coexist in two worlds. I mean, he's an American resident. He resides in the United States with his American wife and his American family, but he's still very much an Englishman, a British citizen. He loves his country and he loves his countrymen. I think he even talked about in the essay he talked about Scotty's Little Soldiers, that charity that he's basically supported all these years. He's very much a patriot, as I said, and he loves his country. And it's not his fault that he's more interesting. He's just more interesting than his brother. I mean, it's not his fault. It's not William's fault either. I mean, William is going to be the next king, but he's not, he's not he's not as interesting as Harry is, and that's not his fault either. But for the press to try to blame Harry that Harry's stealing attention, I mean, look, no matter what Harry does, it should never usurp William because William should be able to generate all the attention for himself, and he just simply doesn't. He has the wattage of his bulb is very low compared to Harry. That's not Harry's fault. Anyway, you guys, that's it for this one. I just wanted to acknowledge that the Duke of Sussex is in Toronto, Canada. And apparently he's a fan of the Toronto Blue Jays. Although he was wearing a Dodgers cap the other day at the game 4 of the playoffs in Los Angeles with his wife, the Duchess of Sussex. So there is that. But yeah, Harry's in Toronto.